Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe. Jesus' response to Thomas is a statement which is extremely important. It's extremely important for the writer of John's Gospel and for us today, for that matter. The writer wanted to assure his readers that faith is no less a possibility for them than for the original disciples. In other words, faith is available to everyone in all places and times with no less efficacy due to distance from Jesus of Nazareth. Now, the verb believe and the noun faith are used widely in all forms of Christianity. I believe, or we believe, stands at the beginning of the creeds used by many Christians. And its close relative, faith, is especially important for Protestants. The Reformation of the 16th century emphasized that our relationship with God is primarily about faith. We are saved by faith, not by works. These are phrases you've probably heard somewhere in the past. And ever since the 16th century, Protestants in particular have spoken of believing and faith as foundational to being Christian. But you know, the common meanings of these words in modern English are very, very different from their pre-modern and ancient meanings. And it's this difference which I intend to speak about today. Now, a great long time ago, when I was in high school, I can recall English classes. And one of the favourite things that our English teacher used to be on about was this use of words. And it really pained her how words changed their meaning over time, and in her view, somewhat incorrectly. And the word that she chose to illustrate this was the word chronic. Now, those of us that are getting on in age know what it is to have some chronic health problems, sore back, stiff neck. Generally, chronic means long-lasting. But many people today use the word chronic meaning severe. So someone might say, how are you recovering from that injury to your elbow? Oh, it's a chronic pain, meaning a severe pain. So that's a word that's changed its meaning over time. We can think of other words that have changed its meaning over time. We think if somebody's talking about a gay person, in the past, we might have thought, oh, that's somebody who's constantly cheerful. But if you hear the word gay today, you tend to make a different association. And there's a number of words that have changed over the years. Now, prior to about 1600, the verb believe always had a person as its direct object, not a statement. It did not mean believing that a statement is true with varying degrees of certainty, but more like what we mean when we say to someone, I believe in you. And note the difference that the preposition makes. To believe in someone is not the same as believing someone. The latter refers to believing that what the person says is true, that his statements are true. But when I say I believe in you, It means I have confidence in the person, trust in the person. A number of years ago, we were driving the grandchildren back. They'd spent some time with us during the day, and we have 5 grandchildren in total, but these were 3 from one family. And the ages range from about 9 to 14. Now, my husband was driving the car, and we were approaching traffic lights that were just about to change. Now, he's known as Bobby, and I'm known as Gillian. It makes us feel younger. We're not Gran and Grandpa. So, as we're approaching the traffic lights, the oldest one, Seb, shouts out, "Go, Bobby, go!" The middle one shouts out, "You can do it!" And the third one, the little girl, said, "We believe in you." She was using it from that point of view. We trust you. We know you can do it. In a Christian context, believing means having confidence in God and Jesus, trusting God and Jesus. But you know, the meaning of believe prior to 1600 includes even more. The word comes from the Old English beloved, which means beloved, to hold dear. And the similarity with the word beloved is obvious. So to believe meant not only confidence and trust in a person, it also meant to hold that person dear, to beloved that person. So we can see that until the 1600s, to believe in God and Jesus meant to beloved God and Jesus. Now think of the difference. Think of the difference that this makes. To believe in God does not mean believing that a set of statements about God is true, but to beloved God. And to believe in Jesus does not mean to believe that a set of statements about him is true, but to beloved Jesus. So the difference between believing and beloving is a very significant one. Now, when Jesus spoke about the great commandment, he did not say, "You shall believe that these statements about God are true." Rather, he said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your mind and with all your strength." So the modern meaning of believe is a major distortion of ancient Christian and biblical meanings. And to put the contrast very concisely, it's the difference between believing that a set of statements about God, Jesus, and the Bible is true, and believing God, and for Christians, this means beloving God as known especially in Jesus. Now, many people today, both inside the church and outside of it, take it for granted that Christian faith means believing a set of Christian beliefs to be true, and it's that what is really important. But does believing that a set of statements is true really save us? Really transform us? Or is it beloving God, trusting and loving God as known in Jesus that saves us by transforming us? The Christian faith is primarily about faithfulness to God and trusting God as known in the unconditional love revealed in the life and teachings of Jesus. Now, it's not a matter that beliefs don't ever matter. There are both bad and good beliefs. And bad beliefs can get in the way of faith, and worse, become a source of intolerance, cruelty, and persecution. Whereas good beliefs assist us in becoming more compassionate, just, and peaceful. But believing the right things is not all that matters. Faith is much more a matter of the heart than the head. In the Bible and in the Christian tradition, the heart is a metaphor for a deep level of the self, deeper than our thinking, feeling, intellect, emotions. Believing that a set of statements is true has little transforming power, but beloving God, as known in Jesus, has great transforming power. Now, it's an interesting fact, but in studies carried out today within Australia, many young people are much more interested in Buddhism than they are in Christianity. And when asked why that is, they usually reply, well, because Buddhism is about a way of life, and Christianity is all about believing. We don't think beliefs matter nearly as much as having a spiritual path and following a way. It's sad. It's sad that they have this impression about Christianity, because Christianity is most certainly about a way of life, a path, and it has been from the very beginning. At the center of Jesus' own teaching is the notion of a way or a path. And moreover, the first name of the early Christian movement was known as the Way. And so for each of us today, there remains the all-important question: do we believe, or do we be love?